Hey guys, this is Ancient Toaster, and we're going to be unboxing a vintage unopened box of MagiNation. MagiNation is a discontinued early 2000s trading card game. I'm not a large expert on it, but I bought this box on eBay for only about 50 bucks, and you can see that we're going to get 10 MagiNation starter decks from the second edition of the game. This box was sealed when I got it, and as you can see, all of the starter decks inside are actually sealed as well inside their original plastic packaging. And they all have little hang tabs for a retail environment. So I don't know a great deal about this game, so we're going to be discovering it together here. But you can see that we have 10 starter decks, 5 for each, I believe, faction, although I don't know the official MagiNation term. We have 2 of each. Now, one of the interesting things about this second edition that I found researching this game on the web is that the first edition, the decks all feature identical content, but in the second edition, supposedly the decks are randomized, and apparently there's not a lot known about what the contents actually are and how the randomization works. So it'll be a little interesting to open these up and see how truly different the various decks are. I think we'll start here with this little blue dragon-y wolf monster demon creature from the Ardereal faction. You can see on the box that we're going to get a couple of things here. We're going to get a 40 card deck, 3 Magi cards, a rule card, a dice, although you can see we already have enough dice in this house, a rule book, and 3 sheets of energy tokens. So you get a lot in this little box. So it'll be kind of fun to see what they look like. Not too much else to say about the box, really. So we'll just clear the rest of these out and start by opening one of these puppies up. Harder to balance than I thought here, and I don't know where they're going. Ugh. All right, so let's take a look here inside this Ardereal. And I'm going to take a quick detour here to pimp this Olfa touch knife. If you don't have one of these in your life, you need to get one. You can buy about a dozen of them on eBay for 10 bucks, and they are a life-changing package opening tool. Let's just get in here and open up this MagiNation Duel starter box. All right. This plastic wrap's been reopened. You know, it's very possible I'm actually the first person in 2020 to open one of these MagiNation Duel starter sets. Less and less of these around. You can see, unfortunately, this one got a little damaged at some point in its 20-year history. All right, let's get in here. All right, so you can see this is very nicely and neatly packaged in here. We have a little dice. Unfortunately, a little generic, not particularly cool. We have energy tokens. So we've got some that say 5 here. Got 1s and another sheet of 1s. Got a rule book, and I don't know how many of you are Magic players, but this reminds me a lot of the little rule books you used to get in, say, an Ice Age starter deck. You can see it's very, very tiny type. It starts by explaining what even is a collectible card game, and I presume in here we're going to dive into the rules. I doubt we're going to learn in this video how to play because there appear to be a lot of rules here for a relatively simple game. And let's start taking a look at the cards here. Looks like we have one straggler. All right. You can see one of the things that attracted me to this game as I was researching various dead trading card games is the really unique art style. It's very playful and fanciful, and it's got kind of a strong anime influence to my eyes, which is unusual for the era and must have been one of the first ones. And different from other anime-inflected games of the era like Yu-Gi-Oh! That are a little more realistic and even a little scarier. This one's very playful in appearance. I have no idea if any of the cards that we're looking at here are any good. We might do a subsequent video on that. Interesting, they're flipped upside down for this section. I don't know if that's my fault or what. All right, so here we are. Balu Root, Furrock, cute little E-bit dream creature. I believe this game was, like most early trading card games, pretty heavily inspired by Magic the Gathering. You can see that we have different factions and colors. We have 5. The colors map almost exactly to Magic's 5 colors, and that's pretty common for games of the era. And you can also see the kind of heavy dense text boxes that you're dealing with. This was, I believe, intended to be a more accessible game. than Magic and other competing games of the era, but still compared to modern games like Hearthstone, for instance, I think we're dealing with much more complex cards that require a little more effort to understand. I think these are our 3 Magi cards here in the center. Yep. Stratus, Shimmer, and Lasada. All right, so that is our Ardirial starter deck. Let's take a look at the other Ardirial starter deck and see how much the contents vary. Since, as I said, there's a little dispute on the internet of just how randomized these unlimited starter decks are. Where do I find you? All right, here's our other Ardirial starter, and let's get in there. So again, we got a cute little dice, rule book, some energy cards. We'll just get those out of the way here. Let's just take a quick look. Let's see if we can find those Magi first. It's pretty odd that halfway through the box, the order of the cards flips. I wonder if that's a printing error or if that was intended to do something. Well, you can see that we have the exact same 3 Magi at least. The cards themselves in the deck look to be a little different. I have to do a side-by-side, and we might come back and do that later. But I'm not seeing a huge difference here in the contents of the deck. It's possible that in the second half here, that the upside-down section indicates that these are the randomized cards. I don't, for example, remember getting one of these cute little WELLISK pups here. It's like a jelly bean with a dog head on it. That's pretty cute. Relic Stalker. We got a little... What is that, a cube with feet and a creepy spiky tube in between? Definitely, as you can see, some pretty unique art here, unlike any other game I've seen, really. Reminds me a little of Neopets in its cuteness. And you can see one of these, again, is randomly upside down. Kind of strange collating here in this pack. All right, so that's our 2 Ardirial starter decks opened. We'll just take a look at one each of the other 5 factions. Let's look at this underneath starter deck. You can see that we got kind of a tentacle mushroom snake man here on the front. Not quite sure what's going on there. Same copy on the back, same contents, although customized in different colors. Let's just get in here like this and check it out. All right. So again, we're dealing with the same set of tokens here as in the Ardirial deck. Same rule book, but different cards. And the same little dice. Let's take a look at the cards though. Cards are the standard trading card game size, as you can see. Same size as your Magic cards, Legend of the Five Rings, etc. See, these are going a little creepier here. I think this is kind of the underworld faction. We've got a bottomless pit to, not hell, but probably hell. Giant Parmalag, a Buzzywog, a lot of underground creatures here. And then we've got some of the same factions as in the other thing. We've got a Universal Relic here, some of the same cards as in the other deck. Crystal Arbol. Presumably, like last time, we'll get halfway through and we'll find our 3 Magi and then a bunch of upside down cards, but we're gonna find out. All right, here's our 3 Magi. We have Strogg and Grook and Gogor. Kind of a Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball vibe to the character design here with the big hair and the ropey muscles on these guys. And then, yep, you can see we got halfway through and we have presumably the random part of the deck where cards are upside down in various configurations. Carnivorous Cave. Oh, we have our first foil or promo here. Not a huge amount of excitement going on in this guy, but you can see there's just a little bit of shimmer on there. Not quite like you get in, say, a modern Pokemon trading card game card, but a little bit of excitement for us. It's good enough that we might sleeve these when we play with it. And we flipped upside down again and again. Oh, we got more of these little pups. I love the pups. They're just super cute. Relic Stalker, another Leaf Hyren, a Bwill, etc. All right, and that's our underneath starter deck. We're not going to open both of the underneath decks. I don't want to waste too much of your time here, so we're going to jump ahead to a bit of a disaster there. We're going to jump ahead here to a called starter deck. This is the Fire faction. You can see we've got a Salamander there, ready to leap into action. Similar back text and copy to the other decks. Just something I just noticed. I like that they have a little phone number here to contact them in addition to the website. I'd be curious what happens if we call that. I'm guessing that's not going to resolve to MagiNation anymore. This game, I believe, continued until around 2002, 2003, so not very long-lived, although it did last long enough to get a trading card game version on the Game Boy Color, similar to the Pokemon trading card game and the various iterations of Yu-Gi-Oh! So we might pick that up and do a video. That would be an interesting artifact to look at. So again, here we're looking at Called, the Fire starter deck. Same little dice, little token sheet and rule book here. And here we go, starting with a Flame Geyser. Kel'Thuzad. So again, we got a mix of called creatures and universal relics. Different set than we've seen here before with the Water of Life, the Ancestral Flute, the Robes of the Ages. A little like the Pokemon trading card game, you can see there's a lot of variation in the art style. I mean, they all feature a kind of consistent light anime style, but some of them are quite abstract, like this Fireball, for example, or this Fire Flow, and then others are relatively realistic in what they depict, like this Fire Grog. Not necessarily the most sophisticated art, but I think very charming and unique. All right, here we have our three Magi. We have Cinder and Grega, and finally Gar, who looks like kind of cute, I guess. Then we have our randomized cards, not upside down in this case. They're truly random, these random cards. A little Gum Gum, it kind of looks like Ditto, doesn't it? And you can see he does do a little switching effect, so I wonder if there's a little inspiration from Ditto there. And our usual selection of random cards. I don't know actually how the faction rules work in this game, and I'm guessing you can't just throw all these cards into a deck and have them work. So when we get into the rule book later, we will see how well we're actually able to use these. I presume having 10 starter decks would be enough that you could potentially build some interesting decks. I love how many of these WELLISK pups we've gotten. They're just adorable. Relic Stalker and a Leaf Hider. You know, I'm actually gonna put this pup on top for this deck because he's just so cute. All right, two more factions to go here. Next, we have the Deeps of Orathe starter deck. We've got a little black dragon creature here. Similar copy again on the back of the box. I like the edgy typeface used for the logo here with the backwards N. That's very of the era. All right, let's just pop this open here. Get our little dice out of the way. And then, see, these ones are all in upside down. Really curious packaging and collating on these cards. All right, here's our rule book. We're gonna have a solid collection of MagiNation rule books by the end of this video. All right, so you can see we're now into water cards here. Our usual 3 universal relics, which seems to be the pattern. That's a cool art. See, isn't that just charming? I wanna zoom in on that and just show off the charm of this very fanciful little illustration here. A sea storm. Got Court, Sphere, Paralit. I wonder what the origination of these names is. They're very, they almost seem like they've come from a random generator. Abaquist, Sea Barrel, Orpus. Very few kind of real names. All right, here are our 3 Magi. We have Orthea, who's some kind of mermaid, Orlon, another mermaid, and then Ebelon, who looks more like a terrifying crab man. And into our randomized portion, we have the Eye of the Storm, so it looks like we have a relic that actually matches our faction. Some digging goggles, Oh, another Magi for a different faction. I think this is one of the first Magi we've opened, extra Magi we've opened. Arbol, Weebo, hello, Weebo. See if we can pull another one of our WELLISK pups out of this video, out of this pack. Four Winds Gaze, all right, he looks pretty fearsome, some kind of sea god, presumably. We're looking like we're not gonna pull any WELLISK. Oh, we have the full-grown WELLISK. We have Daddy WELLISK here to go with our WELLISK pup. That's even better. All right, so these cute little guys grow up into this ugly, mean devilfish bulldog man. And to finish off this box, we've got a whole lot of sea creatures. We seem to have really lucked out with how many Arderial spells. I think if we, oh, we did get the set even in this box. That's wonderful. All right. Only one more faction to go. Our last faction here, the Narum faction. Kind of a woodland thing, a woodland theme going on. Chris, we haven't really paused and let you look at this copy here. I like, it's kind of a fun little bit in this copy here. So, forged from the awesome power of mysterious mineral substance, crafted by the dreams and imagination of an ancient race, the strange and wondrous realms of MagiNation, TM, set the stage for a titanic contest of strength, wits, fortitude, guile, determination, strategy, ingenuity, intellect, perseverance, raw power. You get the point. I like the huge build-up here and how seriously this takes itself until the very end when they felt kind of a need to undermine themselves. Take part, go beyond, and enter the world of MagiNation Duel. And then we have 4 exclamation marks, which again strikes me as a little bit of a, almost an anime quality if you think of some of those early mid-era JRPGs in the 90s, which tended to feature a lot of exclamation marks as a way to emphasize their dialogue. All right, pop this guy open. Our last one, the Narum starter deck. And we're gonna flip this open. Get in here. I hadn't noticed this 3 Animite. I wonder what that signifies. All right. Get rid of our rules here. Another teeny little dice. Oh, and we haven't really looked at the back yet, have we? We've got a pretty wonderful back design here. Very fantastic. Kind of almost medieval in its intricacy and detail. Reminds me of an illuminated manuscript. Frankly, a little, almost wish more of that design came through on the cards, and you can see like a true card deck of cards, it's symmetrical as I rotate it around there, unlike say the Magic the Gathering back. All right, and let's see what we've got here from our Narum faction. We have a giant Carillion, very scary, a dream creature. All right, we've got our 3 universal relics very early in the deck this time. Another one of these horrible relic stalkers. I wish we could stop opening them. The Sap of Life. The Book of Life, oh, interesting. Sap of Life and Book of Life, very exciting. All right, grow. So you can see we've got very much your classic green faction here. Just keep flipping through. Oh man, we got a lot of this trap card here where each player is drawing 2 cards, but of course we're going down 1 card to do it. All right, here's our 3 Magi, Yaki, Pruitt. They look very similar, don't they? I guess if you live in the forest, you have to be blonde. And Pode, who kind of looks like Samwise Gengi to my eye. All right, I think we're into our randomized portion here, although hard to tell with the rotation. Corf Pearl. Oh, another bonus mage here, JLS. We now have a decent number of mages to work with as we build our decks. Weebo, Carillion, Orpus, again, more WELLISKs. A lot of WELLISKs and WELLISK pups. Maybe we can build a WELLISK tribal deck. Some Channeler's gloves. Those look a little uncomfortable and scary. They kind of look like they're going to eat your hand. Look at the ages. Another Magi, so we have a good number of additional Magi to work with. Farmalog. Zix Mirror. Oh, and I think I see a little shininess coming up here. Oh, we have one more. Oh, we have a promo mage, Lasada here, but in shiny form. Very exciting. Unfortunately, the artwork here doesn't appear to feature a kind of custom holofoil cutout. Instead, just the frames of the card are in foil, but the art is basically matte, unlike Pokemon trading card game or a lot of Magic sets where different parts of the art are highlighted in foil. And then last of all, we have Taproots. All right, this has been our MagiNation Unlimited deck unboxing. We might do a follow-up video where we actually read the rules and do a little more research and come back to you with an explanation of how these different decks might work and how they might play against each other. Thanks for joining me.